Hello and welcome or welcome back to CSEC English B Solutions with your favorite virtual tutor, Miss Athalie. Today we will answer questions 21 to 30 from the May 2018 paper. Here is a helpful tip since we are looking at poetry today. Read the poem at least 3 times. Read it twice, then read the questions. Read the poem again. Sometimes you may want to read it even a 4th time or a 5th time, and that is fine. On your exam paper, your poem is going to look something like this. You have the title on the top. You have the line numbers because the questions will usually ask you to refer to a particular line number. And you also have footnotes because sometimes they understand that they may put a word in there that not everyone is familiar with, so they will put the definition below. So you see here it says Aya. What is Aya? So we look at the bottom for the number, which is 2, and it says a nurse or maid, usually native to India. So I've retyped the poem. You can pause the video so that you can read it 3 times. Or you can just read along with me. Now, before I answer each question, I will give you some time to answer it on your own. If you like, you can get a piece of paper and number it 21 to 30, and you can respond to the questions before I do so. It'll be just like a tutoring session. So here's our poem. Let's go. Immigrant. I see her every day, crossing the parking lot at 4. A black anomaly within a land of snow. A lonely and misplaced woman, desperately squeezing from the land its celluloid comforts. Caribbean temper chilled by guarded hostile looks that stop the blood more than the blizzards and the frosts of barren prairie winters. She often wonders why. Not slave, neither Aya, nor domestic, but now as pedagogue she comes, wistfully seeking a better life. To Canada, land of silver dreams, refuge of slave, reject, and persecuted. But when the dross of mass-produced catalog-bought trifles has worn, and when the shiny metallic coach has spluttered and groaned its last somewhere upon a lonely highway, its guts congealed by biting cold, and when the sun petulantly hides its head, then insane jungle rhythms reverberate from the gaudy Hilton perched crazily upon the Belmont Hills, and amidst the fevered tingle of rum punches, carnival spectres arise from decaying baronial mansions around the Queen's Park Savannah and return to haunt her. And at the bottom here in italics, we see where this poem was taken from. And here we have our footnotes. So celluloid, tough plastic used to make film and other products. Aya, nurse or maid, usually native to India. Pedagogue, that's a teacher. Belmont Hills in Port of Spain, Trinidad. Shout out to all the Trinidadians watching this video. So you can read it again. And this time you take into consideration the meaning of celluloid, Aya, pedagogue, and Belmont Hills. Then you read it a 3rd time and a 4th time. It's normal if you read a poem the 1st time and you have no idea what's going on. That's fine. That actually happens to teachers as well. But as you read it again, the meaning becomes clearer. You are able to visualize all that imagery in your head. So we're moving on to the first question. To which of the following senses does the imagery in stanza 1 mainly appeal? So again, you can pause the video, go back to stanza 1, read it, and decide. Answer, sight, and touch. Next. The poet describes the woman as a black anomaly. Line 3, primarily 2. Highlight the woman's skin color. Show that the woman goes to the parking lot every day. create a contrast between the woman's skin and the snow. Emphasize that the woman does not belong in the parking lot. The answer is C. Create a contrast between the woman's skin and the snow. The poet uses the expression desperately squeezing from the land its celluloid comforts, lines 5 to 6, to A. Set the pace, B. Create an analogy, C. Establish the theme, D. Introduce a paradox. It is C. Establish the theme. Lines 7 to 8. Caribbean temper chilled by guarded hostile looks are significant because they A. Compare the Caribbean landscape with the Canadian environment, B. Provide a contrast between the Caribbean temper and the hostile looks, C. Suggest that the woman had to adapt her attitude to suit the environment, D. Emphasize that the woman has not changed since she migrated to Canada. C. Suggest that the woman had to adapt her attitude to suit the environment. Next. The effect of the poet's references to the Caribbean's insane jungle rhythms, line 24, and fevered tingle of rum punches, line 27, is that they A. Heighten the sense of nostalgia the woman feels, B. Suggest that the life the woman left behind was difficult, C. Mirror the woman's experience in the new environment, or D. Emphasize the coldness and hostility of the environment. They heighten the sense of nostalgia the woman feels. She misses that place. Next, which of the following adjectives best describes the tone of the last two stanzas of the poem? A. Impartial, B. Sympathetic, C. Disapproving, D. Condescending. Disapproving. What do images of the land of silver dreams, line 15, and the dross of mass-produced catalog-bought trifles, line 17, tell us about the woman's experience? A. She recognizes the similarity of the environment. B. She was expecting to become wealthy in a short time. C. They highlight her fulfillment with her life in Canada. D. Her hope for a better life is undermined by the attitude of the people. C. They highlight her fulfillment with her life in Canada. The sun petulantly hides its head, line 23, is an example of A. Irony and metaphor, B. Personification and simile, C. Symbolism and euphemism, D. Metaphor and personification. The answer is D. Metaphor and personification. The final stanza of the poem is used to A. Demonstrate that the woman's life in the Caribbean was difficult, B. Mirror the woman's life in the Caribbean and her life in Canada, C. Suggest that the woman's past was more gratifying than her present situation, D. Imply that the woman will not have a fulfilling life if she returns home. C. Suggests that the woman's past was more gratifying than her present situation. And I guess this is where a little bit of context would come in. If you're familiar with the Trinidadian environment, the carnival, the bacchanal, the Queen's Park Savannah, it's all a whole bunch of happiness. What is the poem mainly about? A. Caribbean life, B. Exile and return, C. Fulfillment of dreams, D, dislocation and nostalgia. D, dislocation and nostalgia. And we're done. Wasn't that easy? If not, keep practicing. If you have any questions about any particular responses, maybe you did not agree with one or two, feel free to type them in the comments and I will try my best to explain the justification for that response. Next time, we will look at another poem and then we'll move on to prose fiction. Keep at it and see you next time.